Hello and welcome to Questions in Quarantine, where I interview different people from different professions each week on their experience in lockdown. Each time I welcome someone to my virtual coffee shop and challenge them to answer the 2 minutes in lockdown questions, where they need to answer 4 questions in just 2 minutes. This week I've got Vic O'Farrell with me. Welcome, Vic.
Cheers. I bought my coffee, or it's tea actually.
Wonderful. Well, you're in the right place because you're in my virtual coffee shop. It's just a shame we can't meet in person and it has to be virtually.
Well, that's as good as it's going to get right now, but I can't wait till we're on the other side.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Anyway, let's find out a little bit more about you in a second. Let's get the challenge out of the way, shall we?
Yeah.
So are you ready for the challenge?
Go on.
Fantastic. Let's get my screen shared. We've got the challenge up there, got the clock ready. Okay, let's get started then. So what have you been doing, Vic, to keep yourself sane and manage your well-being during lockdown?
Having a routine. So, making sure that I get up at the same time that I would normally do, shower, get dressed and get in my office to work. So routine is key for me.
Fantastic. Me too. Brilliant. Okay. What's the one thing you've learned about yourself during this time then?
I would say the biggest thing has to be that it's okay to not be okay and not be... I'm a very positive person, glass half full, overflowing, etc., but I've had my wobbles like everyone else. And it's actually okay to show that vulnerability and show other people that, even positive people can have a tough time with it.
Yeah, I think that is so true. That authenticity is so important, isn't it?
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, so can you share a little tip or a piece of advice based on your professional experience that might sort of help people that are watching out there?
Don't bottle up and talk to people. Even if you think that they don't want to listen, you'll be surprised the power of your network when you do talk to people. I've spoken to way more people that are in my LinkedIn connection because I've had the time to, because I haven't been commuting to London and stuff like that. So it's actually been lovely to actually get to know people, talk to people, and understand what they do.
Fantastic. So important, those connections.
Yeah.
Finally then, what's the one thing you're going to miss and what's the first thing you're going to do when this all returns to normal?
One thing I'm going to miss. I couldn't tell you what I'm going to miss, but the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to hug the first person I see. That I'm missing.
Well, let's turn that off and you can continue telling me. So you're going to hug the first person that you see.
It's the biggest thing I've missed being in lockdown. And don't get me wrong, I love my husband to bits and I hug him as much as I can, and the cats. I've even started hugging the chickens. But human race is born for interactions, and I know people keep talking about the fact that it's not going to get back to normal, and I get that it's going to be back to different, but we still need human interactions. We can't all work from home, we can't be remote, we need to be with other people.
Gosh, that is so true. I really have noticed that. I really have. Gosh, well, I love that. So beware if you're out there and everything's going back to normal and you're walking past Vic, because you may be on the receiving end of a hug.
I know, but I have to be careful because not everybody's huggy people. I get it from my mum, definitely. She's a massive hugger, and I think the first time I see my mum, we're probably going to be there for half an hour just in this locked embrace.
Yeah, gosh, family, it's been tricky, isn't it? Oh, well done, because you beat the clock, even though we had a little chat sort of afterwards. You beat the clock, so well done there. Let's find out a little bit more about you though. So let's tell everybody watching there, who you are, what you do, it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, so I'm Vic O'Farrell, as you said. I'm an award-winning disc practitioner, trained through the Coaching Academy, which is how we know each other. And I set my business up 6 years ago, having been fired from my job in London. At the time, I thought being fired was the worst thing that ever could happen to me. But it's the best thing because it made me take this step for setting my business up. It gave me the time to think about what I want to do. And then as I trained with the Coaching Academy to become a coach, I came across the disc part of it. And who knew, you know, I could actually make a career out of people watching, which is a hobby that I have. So I just find people fascinating, and helping people understand. It's you got to get an understanding of yourself is incredibly powerful, but it's understanding others is where the knowledge happens, because you can then adapt yourself to get the best out of people. We can't change anybody. We are who we are, but we can learn to adapt ourselves to communicate.
So what type of people do you interact and work with then, where DISC is concerned?
So all my work has, previous to COVID, has always been in the corporate world. So going into places and doing workshops with them, doing webinars with them, and understanding the communication between the workplace and the workforce. And also when people are moving office, it's not just understanding about the DNA of the company, it's understanding the culture of the people that work in that business as well. But since lockdown, I mean, I was on an online program in January to take my business online because I want to reach out to more people. And yeah, my first business round has been amazing. I've got three people from Switzerland who I would probably have never done business with before. Well, I haven't done business, but they wouldn't have been on my radar before COVID. But by reaching out to my network and telling everyone what I'm doing, I've got them coming on. So the online program is going to stay forever. I'm loving it, and the people on it are loving it. So yeah.
Fantastic, so inspiring. You know, it sounds, you know, that you've really sort of, well, obviously you had the idea, and we'd spoken about it before, you know, you had the idea of moving your business online before all of this happened anyway, but it's interesting how the planets can align sometimes, isn't it? So, you know, that's really inspiring, probably for a lot of people out there thinking, wow, you know, actually you've really sort of embraced all of this and moved things forward. So, but who or what inspires you?
Oh, there are lots of people that inspire me. People who show vulnerability, so people who don't just say how amazing the world is, you know, people who themselves show vulnerability, and people who help others. The support network that I have myself is amazing, and I mean support network as well, not just the people that charge for their time. It's that mutual respect of actually, well, do you know what, let's get together. This meeting isn't all about me and what I can get out of it. This is about a two-way street and what we can do and support for each other, because I'm a big believer in what goes around comes around. And the more you put in, the more you'll get out of this life. We've only got one lap, and I need to be in that happy lane.
Yeah, oh no, I totally agree with you there. I often talk about my happiness bubble, and I, you know, go inside my little pink bubble and I'm very, very happy. But it's really interesting what you were just saying there, because, you know, there are a lot of people out there who, you know, they are very guarded and sort of, you know, potentially, for want of a better word, empire build. And I've always had a very similar mindset to you, that there's enough work out there for everyone. And I do believe that you're right. You know, if you what you give out, you receive. It might not be straight away, but ultimately people will always remember how you made them feel, if you like. You know, so that little bit of kindness, that little bit of support that you've received, you won't forget that, will you?
No, there's I can't remember whose saying it is now, but there is the saying is that Mayor somebody, isn't it, that people don't remember always what you say or your name, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And we're both disc practitioners.
Yeah.
I don't not have you've been on my call and I'm now on your call, because I don't look and go, oh, I can't have Sharon, she's competition. It's not. There's work out there for all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And supporting each other in that as well, you know, and sort of, you know, cross-pollination and referring people on, etc., etc. We're going to find out how people can find out about you and follow you, because I know you have a fabulous Instagram account as well, so we'll find out about that in a second. But you know, I know how successful you are, and at the beginning of the interview, you shared that you're an award-winning practitioner. Yeah. So before you tell me your top tips for success, how did it feel to receive your award?
Oh God, that was amazing. I mean, you were there that night as well. I was confident, you know, I wouldn't have gone in for it if I didn't think I had a chance of winning it, but I wasn't overconfident. I wasn't arrogant about it. And I think on the night, I remember coming up, there was the shortlisted, and then I was thinking, oh God, I don't know. And then hearing my name was just, to win an award from your peers and your industry really kind of cements that you're doing you are on the right track, because what do we call it? It's not limiting beliefs so much. Can't think of the word. It will suddenly come to me in a minute. I've got menopause brain. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. There's always someone there, isn't there? No matter where it comes from, and we try and get rid of it. We try and squash it, but it always rears its head. So to win that award was just an amazing feeling, and I'm so proud of it.
Oh, well, it was well deserved, and you do fantastic work, with DISC and with all your coaching as well. So it was very well deserved. But your top tips for success, then, what would you say they are?
Is believe in what you're doing. If you really want that, there's a reason why you're doing it, and there will always be the cynic in the room that tells you can't. Yeah. And you need to squash the cynic, because for the one cynic there's 100 supporters, but it's human nature, we listen to that cynic. Find your supporters and keep them closer, and go for it. And if you need to ask for support, that's not a negative. Asking for support, it's not vulnerability, it's just showing that you're human and that you need help. I believe in what I do, and I'm successful in what I do because I believe it.
And sometimes that, you're talking about, the critique in the room, we do. It's really interesting, when I do courses and stuff, and if there's an evaluation form, I always have a little quick look through, and it's interesting how you focus on the 1% that said okay rather than the 99% that say excellent. So it's really weird. But what about the imposter in your head? What if it's the imposter in your head, a critique from internally? What would you say then?
Well, to me, my imposter syndrome keeps me grounded. So that I don't think that I am the best thing since sliced bread, so that I don't become arrogant about what I do. It's there to keep me grounded, but don't listen to it too much. Put it away again. It's those limiting beliefs. Don't let other people's limiting beliefs in you stop you doing what you're doing, because I feel that sometimes people say it out of jealousy. Don't tell me I'm not good at what I do. I know I'm good at what I do. I've gotten, it's not the award, but I've got clients that repeatedly book me because I'm good at what I do. And I just do this thing. I'm not trying to be everything to everyone. I just do this one thing.
So. Well, it's such good advice. And, and I love the reframe, that you use that little critique in your head just to keep you grounded, but not so much that it flattens you. So I absolutely love that. I think that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we're coming to the sort of end of the interview, really. What's the good thing that you think might come out of all of this? Maybe professionally and personally. You think so? Generally for society, do you think?
I think there will be a lot more trust in terms of the workforce. So. There have been the untrusting, cynical people that said you could never work from home, and that was it, carte blanche in a business, never work from home, and they've proved they can. So I think it will alleviate any stress on the workforce, because actually commuting to work can be really tough, which will benefit society, it will benefit the environment. And so trust is probably the biggest thing, I think, for me. And giving people options. You have the option. You work from home, work in the office, work remotely, work wherever you want to work, as long as you get the job done. And it's managing by results and not by appearance. So I think that's probably, in terms of the workplace, one of the biggest things I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that would definitely be a positive to come out of things, for sure. Right, well, we're coming to the end of our interview, and I could chat to you forever because it's fascinating. Apart from the fact that we have lots of sort of, common areas of interest. You are such an interesting person to listen to. How can people find out about you?
So my website, which is motivationalvoice.uk. Or you can find me on any of the social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm either Vic O'Farrell or Vicky O'Farrell, which is Vicky. I go to Vic because you can't misspell that. Or I use the hashtag #PersonalityVic to find me.
Well, that makes sense considering you're all about that behaviour personality model. That absolutely makes sense. Oh, fantastic. Well, I will also put the links to your websites and stuff in the post as well. So check down below as well, and check Vic out. Give her a follow. If you're an Instagram follower, you'll love her stories. They're varied, they're authentic. You know, I just love them. They're fantastic. It set me up for the day. And actually, just before we sign off, if you don't mind me saying so, I was very, very impressed that you went along to was it the Miss UK or Miss England?
Ms. Great Britain, the first
Britain,
first Ms. Great Britain, when they celebrated Miss Great Britain, which was 75 years old this year. Yeah, I was a finalist. Who never thought? I'm 50 next year, and I was a finalist in Ms. Great Britain, prancing on a stage in a swimwear.
And you had that all over your stories, and you know that absolutely drew me in. I couldn't wait for the next posting, but it was fabulous. So please do check Vic out. You know, if you're just sort of interested in some real authentic coaching and some real sort of authentic person to follow, but also if you're interested in the whole sort of DISC behaviour model from a professional viewpoint, whether you're a small business or a large business, you just want to find out a little bit more about her. Check her out as well. Thank you so much. We're out of time, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side when all of this is all over, and we'll have a proper cup of tea together rather than a virtual one.
Oh, and I look forward to it too, Sharon. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's been wonderful chatting.
So welcome. You're so welcome. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.